Welcome to Simply Caroline, a podcast dedicated to women empowerment where we will discuss a bunch of different subjects such as life, parenting, love, business, money, relationships, healing, recovery, addiction, entrepreneurship, and so much more. A podcast I'll do my best to keep simple, fun, and relatable and bring you tools to help you better your life. So thank you for being here. And here's your host, myself, Caroline Blanchard. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Thank you for being with us again. I have a super powerful woman this week, Krissy Schmidt. Hi, Krissy.
Hi, Caroline.
How are you?
I am super excited to be here with you and share a bit of my story and just my success. And I'm honored to be on this podcast.
And I'm honored to have you. I met Krissy not too long ago, but it was an instant match. So as you heard me saying before, the book 22 Powerful Women in Network Marketing Revealed Their Key to Success just launched. And I did handpick every single person in it. I do think that I went to get the best of the best. And Krissy is one of them. So Krissy is part of the Powerful Women series. But this interview will be a bit special because you will see that Krissy is wearing more than one hat. And I won't say more on this. We'll just keep going. But Krissy, so you have been in network marketing for how long?
So I've been in network marketing coming up on 5 years. It'll be 5 years this November. Also, it's my first network marketing company too. I had never done this before, so I think that's pretty important to mention. But Caroline, when I found this, I knew I'd found what my soul was searching for, the other part of me. I'm super passionate about what I do, and I love it. It's amazing. So yeah, come November, I think it's November 15th, I'll be in the company I'm with for 5 full years.
Well, congratulations. And you know, it's unusual because Krissy has been in for not even 5 years yet. And she's at the top of her company. And usually when you see that, it will be someone who had the experience somewhere else first and brought in their experience. So it's pretty exceptional to, climb to the top like this. But you'll see as you discover Krissy that she is a very determined person and very strong. But what did you, first of all, before I ask you another question, you said something that I'm like, okay, elaborate a bit on that. You said, I knew in my soul, that's what I was searching. What was that feeling?
It was feeling like home. Growing up, I always knew that there was something that was meant for me that would, that I was truly happy about waking up to do. And when I found this, because I love people, I love connecting with people. I'm very much like my father. He's a business person. So I love building relationships. It makes my heart happy to help people. So before this, I had been doing aesthetics, so the beauty industry, and I had worked at as a cosmetician, and I loved it. And there was, I was so happy, and I felt kind of at home, but I wasn't making the kind of money I should be making, and it wasn't a stable job at the end. So when I came about this, I just knew I had so many customers I could finally help with products that, actually worked, that I could stand behind 100%. There were actually no harsh chemicals, good for them. And I just knew like I could continue to do what I love and help so many people, but on so many different levels. It's just a feeling in my heart that I have, that I've known since the day I joined, that I'm where I'm supposed to be. And it's powerful because if you have that fire 5 years later, which I do, I still have that fire. I still have that excitement, that drive, that, that gets me out of bed. Then you're unstoppable, and I've still got that. And I can say, I'm probably always going to have it. And it's a good thing because I struggled, through my years of wondering, what am I supposed to do? Who am I supposed to be? I was a mom. Yes, I'm a mom. I love my children so much, but I knew there was something else that I was meant to do. And, this is it. And I've helped so many people, and I love myself. I love my life. I love my business. I love being able to support my children as a single mom. It's amazing. It's an amazing opportunity that I came across. It just came across me like it was, I stumbled upon it. And I was very nervous because I always in my back of my head said, Krissy, you can't do this, just limiting beliefs. And I just decided, do it. And I started to run and I did very well. And I've done very well, even though I went through some rough times. I've just always, even in my darkest days, known this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get through what I'm going through and I'm going to continue to do this because it's just who I am. I have to help people. I'm here for a reason. And part of that reason is to help a lot of people.
That's amazing. And you know, what I love is you talk about sense of purpose. And I know your story a little. And I do know that, you know, when you were younger, you didn't feel, you didn't have the feeling of purpose. And I was like that until like not that long ago of being, you know, I knew I was a mother, I knew I was this, I knew I was that, but to really feel like, what's my purpose? Like my real purpose, it's a hard question to answer. And, you know, quite often you will find it, well, unless you do a bit more work before, you will find it when you finally find what's feeding it. And you're like, oh my goodness, that's it. I feel home and I'm staying there. And not to mention, like I gave you, you know, accolades on how you started your business and you went to the top fast. But on top of that, you were a single mom, which, you know, I raise my hat to you because it's not easy. The situation itself is not easy, but to build an empire around, within that as well is an extra challenge. But it was probably also your driving force, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Being a single mom, like when I got into network marketing, I was married. On the outside, I looked like I had a perfect life. You know, I didn't. I was suffering. I was battling addiction. My mental health was deteriorated. I didn't know who I was because I hadn't yet found the missing piece, which was, you know, the network marketing. I hadn't found something where I could stand up and be really proud of what I had accomplished in life. You know, I'm a mom. I love my kids, but I needed something. I didn't want to just be a stay-at-home mom. And then I ended up going through a wicked divorce after I had joined this business and I hit my bottom and my business did fall apart, you know, and that took for me to do, you know, to get sober. I was pregnant through the time, get sober, do personal development, things that I hadn't done in the beginning of the business. Because when I joined, I ran really quick and I did so well, but I wasn't well. And when I figured that out, you know, when I hit my bottom and I went through a divorce and so many things were thrown at me and I had to get my life together. That is when I really started to take it seriously that, you know, if I got myself better through personal development, counseling, everything, if I worked on myself, then everything else would work out. And when I did that, my whole life came together. It took work. It took consistency, you know, getting out of bed, knowing I was a single mom. I had to do it for my kids. I had to get up. I had to pay for these kids, you know, because I was now alone. But that was the best thing for me because I learned to be independent. I learned to be the person that I had always been really looking for, someone that could do things on their own without relying on someone to pay my bills, you know, clean my house, all of that. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me because I'm an incredible mom. I am sober. I've got an incredible team. My family is all back together. We are so close. I love my family so dearly. And it's just, I have my dream life now, you know, and it's just gotten better and better. And network marketing has really been my stepping stone into finding out who I truly am. And being able to be healed myself and I continue to heal every day. But now I can finally start to help people, not only in this business, but in mental health and addiction too, because my story is it was a very hard time I went through and I got through it. So my mission is to help people, you know, with mental health, addiction, people that are suffering, people that don't want to be here anymore, people that, you know, think that it's the end when it's not. Because I was there. And I got through it and it was hard, but it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. You know, I'm so happy in my life. And it took so many hard times for me to get to where I am today.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I have like so many different questions and comments.
Yeah.
But I will say, first, it's pretty powerful to be able to say, I'm living my dream life. Not a lot of people can say that. Because we always seem to want something else that, is not right there. So to be content and be okay with what's going on now doesn't mean you don't want to improve it. It just means like you are exactly where you want to be. It's pretty amazing. And I know it doesn't mean you don't have bigger dreams either, because I know you're also like a goal setter and you have your dreams and you will get there for sure. But talking about, the part of like when you got sober, this is a huge part as well. And I have it really close to my heart as well. And that is why you are in my other book that, is launching very soon, but it's going to be chronicles of people who thrive in sobriety. Because I know that when I stopped drinking, I was miserable and I felt punished and I wasn't happy. I was just like, this suck. Sobriety suck. The book that I would have written back then was Sobriety Suck. Don't do it. It took me years to get over that. And I'm impressed that it didn't take you years, because you are 4 years sober and you used all of those 4 years to rebuild and be strong. But what really motivated you to be like, okay, it's enough. I can't do this anymore.
So honestly, Caroline, I totally know what you're saying with saying you weren't happy, because I battled addiction for years. I'm 39 years old and I went through many times where I would quit, and I would quit for a good amount of time. I would reach out for support and I was not happy. I was sad. I was depressed. I didn't know how to go out in public. I had so much anxiety filling my body. So I know exactly how you felt, because I went through that for years, and it took relapse after relapse after relapse. And when I finally hit my bottom, I had lost everything. I had finally, like when they say you hit your bottom, I totally know what they mean. I didn't want to be here anymore. I didn't believe I could be here anymore. I believed it was easier to drink my pain away than to face the life in front of me. And so there was many, many times that I went through what you went through and felt, very depressed and sad. But when I hit my bottom the final time, I woke up in a hospital. I was now in a dark, dark place, dirty divorce. I just found out I was pregnant, and I had my other daughter, and I was now in a custody battle, and I was fighting for my life. I wasn't just fighting for myself. I was fighting to prove to people who I was, and that I was a good person, because everything had been thrown, just the way that everything went down. People no longer believe that. But the most important part of that is I didn't believe it either. And when you don't believe that you're a good person anymore, that you're that damaged or that down, it takes a lot of work. And I had no choice but to get up. It was either stay down and drown or swim. And I started to swim, and it was hard. I would, there was days when I laid in bed and cried and cried and cried, but I had a baby inside me. I was pregnant. I had my other daughter who I was now fighting for. I was in terrible courts, and I actually started, I'm not a big, I took a mild antidepressant, and I got to say, it's the only medication I take, but my therapist or my counselor at the time, I feel like she was a guardian angel. She said, Krissy, please take this, because I was not okay. And I did. And my parents watched as I slowly started to get out of bed. I was living at their house. I no longer lived with my ex-husband, but I started to get out of bed. I started to do the things that normal people do every single day. Take care of myself, put a little bit of makeup on, brush my hair, straighten my hair, clean the house. And I slowly started coming out of a very dark place. And the antidepressant really did help me get sober. And it gave me my energy back, because my energy was so low. And it was a really stressful time. And I slowly started to come out of this really dark place. And when that started to happen, I started to go out and do things, face people. It was hard. I started to go out in public. I started to, be more present on social media. And I continued to work on myself. I hired life coaches. I had a counselor that I kept for 2 years, because she helped me find who I was. Because in the beginning, I remember crying and saying, she asked me what I liked about myself. And at that point, I said nothing. I couldn't say anything. So, with continued work, I slowly pulled myself out of it. But when things happened, I didn't want to be here anymore. And that's a really dark place to be, to actually not want to be here and think that you can't get your way, like you can't come to the surface and find yourself again. And I did. And it's because of my kids. My kids, I knew because I knew like a long time ago, there was a girl that was a really good. It's not even that I was a bad person, but I was so broken. I knew that if I could get through this, I could find that person, and be that person, be that mom, be that daughter, be that sister, be that friend. And, I am that person again. And it's an amazing feeling, Yes. So that's kept me sober, just finally being happy in life, finally knowing my purpose and, being proud of who I am. So that's really helped keep me sober. So I've enjoyed that part a lot, because I came out of a really dark place, and all of a sudden, after working, I started to be happy, started to enjoy coffee. I started to enjoy little things in life that I didn't enjoy for years. Depression's a very hard thing, and you can
there's depression, and there's also using and being addicted to substance also kills your dopamine, your natural dopamine. So
absolutely,
you only kind of feel something when you're high or drunk or whatever, and at some point you're so used to it that you don't even feel it there either. So it gets pretty boring, parties are not parties anymore, but, you're so courageous to share all of this, because I think that a lot of us do feel like that at some point. We do feel that we're not a good enough person, and we feel that at very different degrees, but it's a very common feeling. So, you went to the extreme of like being, I don't even want to be in this world anymore. But that feeling starts smaller somewhere at some point. Yes. And I think that one thing that I love about personal development is that you can start working on this little part when it's little, because we all have it. Some call it our little voice, our little devil, call it how you want. Yep. But the thing that tells you like, no, you're not good enough. No, you can't do this. And we talk about this like regularly, but it's extremely damageable. And we should really, see how important it is, because it's a huge component of mental health.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Right. The little things that happen. Yeah. Because, everybody has it, but like when I think back years, there's little things that took away from who I was and, broke me down. And when I wrote this part for this book, I seen where things happened, and I seen how I was damaged and hurt and never ever took the time to heal from that. It's a big thing with my kids. I'm very on top of things, because, we have to be, just to make sure that, anything they go through, that we can get through it, because little things you don't think will affect kids or a person, they do.
Yes, they are sponges. And I think that in if I have regrets in life, it's only pretty much things that I did with my kids. I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have said this sentence, or I shouldn't have done that. And it's funny, I'm completely going on a tangent here, but when I was, when my son was born, I started reading books on parenting, and then my daughter was born. So it was parenting two kids, different books that tell you how to be fair and this and that. And I had to stop, because I was like, I'm a horrible parent. I did say this. I did say that. I did say this because, it describes a perfect parent, but we're all human. So, and I have no idea why I went there. I'm just saying, sometimes the more you read and dig, the more you're like, oh my goodness, I need to improve that. So in a way it's good, but it's also, yes, children do absorb so much.
Absolutely.
But talking about the two books that you just wrote, what's the big difference between the two?
So between the two books, the first one is about my journey through my life and, me, how I got into network marketing and my struggles and my battles. And then how I hit my bottom and how I picked myself up and rebuilt my business. So, my goal is to help so many people that are struggling in network marketing that thinking they can't do it, that they've had a rough time in their life, to keep doing it, to keep going. This is the only opportunity I've ever been given in my life. And I'm sure a lot can relate to this, to be given the chance to do personal development. I didn't understand personal development. When I first started this business, I remember asking one of my girls in my team, she said, Krissy, you need to do personal development. And I said, what is that? Right? Because I honestly didn't know what it was. So in this business, you get that for free. You get to learn from thousands of different people and take pieces from people and learn from it and grow. And I've learned from so many different people, not just my uplines or sidelines. I've learned from tons of different people in other companies. And it's a gift because each day I'm growing and learning and improving myself. And I always said to our team, if we're always growing, learning, improving, and working on ourselves, then we have the perfect team. We have the perfect business. With my addiction, the part of the addiction, I'm not done it yet. But it talks about, my struggles as a child and then leading up into my addiction and just, all of the times I relapsed and all of the struggles I went through, and then my tools of what I finally used to get sober. And just it shows people that even, in your darkest days, that if you really want to get better, you can. There are so many different resources, so many different things. And that's where personal development tied in too, is because I would sign up for courses and stuff through my business and through different courses offered and stuff. And I would, learn and grow and start to like myself again, which helped with, staying sober and, doing something I finally loved, because addiction for me was to heal the pain I went through, to numb myself. And that's not what I wanted to feel. I wanted to be happy, and being happy for me doesn't involve drinking and doing drugs. And, one big thing for me was for years, I never understood that mental health and addiction is so connected. And, when I hit my bottom and I was trying to find my way up to the, out, I finally clicked that mental health and addiction are so connected. People that aren't feeling well, they're depressed, they're down, they use substances to self-medicate themselves, and I never understood that until I got sober. I didn't understand that it was all connected. I don't know how I didn't, but then it just clicked. And I thought, my mission is so big. There are so many people out there who are suffering that, just have no self-worth. They don't know who they are. Maybe they grew up in a rough, in a bad home, or they had things happen to them, and they need a chance to find themselves, just like I was given a chance.
And I think that you beautifully linked the two books right now, because some people may think like, it's weird. On this podcast today, they're talking about network marketing and they're talking about addiction. But I think that for you, it's a bit like me. I didn't do AA when I stopped drinking, and not that I have anything against it. I just didn't identify to it. But what really saved me was a personal development book that I picked up, which was my first, The Slight Edge. It was really all about integrating a different philosophy, a different way of living, a different way of thinking, and knowing that, all the little things that you do today will affect tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And it's just, when you say it, it sounds so simple and basic, but we don't do it. even if we know we actually don't apply it. So for me, when I started personal development, that's where I grew in my sobriety. And that's where I went from sobriety sucks to now I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm loving it. And I would not go back to drinking, even if I could. Even if you would tell me in this perfect world, Carolyn, you can drink and it's not going to do anything to you. I'm not there anymore, because I've grown leap and bounds because of personal development. And when we talk about personal development, we don't just talk about, network marketing. Personal development is everything. Like, follow Brene Brown. She talks about shame. She talks about vulnerability. It has nothing to do with business. People like Mel Robbins, people like I could name so many right now, but it's all about growing yourself. And for me, what personal development may not be for what it is for Krissy, but why we use it so much in network marketing is because it's really an industry where you build your own business. You're the only variable in the success that you will have, because there's tons of other people that can join your company and have the exact same product. So you are the only variable. And I heard that once, and at first it didn't click, but now I know your business will never grow bigger than you.
Exactly.
And I didn't understand what it meant when I heard that at first. And that is why, probably that I'm congratulating you so much, because you went on an extraordinary journey of like growing your business, growing yourself, becoming sober. Like, it's not a small task. So what would you, I know that there's a lot of questions I could ask you about sobriety and a lot of questions about network marketing, but I know that there's one very common component. It's mindset. How do you work on this, Krissy? Like, give us examples and like a daily routine or something that someone listening to you right now could apply.
Okay, so with mindset, yes, huge. It's such a key in our lives, right? What I do to work on my mindset is, I get up and I take time for myself. If my kids are here, I get them to school, then I'll take an hour for myself. What do I do? For me, what works for me is I take an hour and I do yoga. I do breath work. Breath work really helps to open the pineal gland, and then you get oxygen there. So I do breath work. And I just take a good hour for myself. I do lots of things like go for walks. I listen to podcasts. I do trainings. But mindset is so important, because if you're in a negative energy, like, you have to be very careful with who you put yourself around. Because if you're around negative people, you'll pull their energy, and you don't want to do that. You want to protect your energy as much as possible. You want to associate yourself with people that you want to be like, people that you have a great feeling with when you leave. If you're hanging around people and you're feeling like down and drained after, that's draining your energy, which is giving you a negative mindset. So daily, I work on my mindset. If I'm having a rough day, so say something really bad happens. One thing, I learned this from a lady, and I thought, isn't that an interesting way to do it? So when something bad happens, why don't we, instead of looking at the negative in it, look at the positive in it? So I'm going to just use the example I used in the book. So my daughter left her milk in a cup. So I open it 2 days after she's gone to her dad's, and it's rotten and it blows up all of my clean hair. I've got beautiful makeup on. And instead of getting mad, which lowers your vibration, I was like, you know what? I needed to clean that floor. And I cleaned it up, and I didn't let myself become angry or mad or any of that, because that's now lowering my vibration, which is making me in a negative energy, negative mindset, right? So it's about trying to find a positive in no matter what it is, and just see the way you feel. See the way you feel after, because I'm telling you, even if it's something that really makes you upset, if you're able to look at it and say, you know what, they probably did it because, maybe they had a rough day. Maybe that's why they treated me like that. Because if you can keep your energy higher, it's better for you. You don't have to worry about that person, but keeping your energy higher, which keeps your mindset good, is what you want to do. When I started practicing this, my life just started to change, right? Because when we become angry and mad, now we're in a negative energy. Okay. So our mindset is bad, and I find when I'm in a bad mindset, bad energy, that's when those people come at me. That's when people are giving me the finger when I'm driving. That's when all these crazy things are happening. And that is because I've lowered my vibration to a 3D vibration, which attracts negativity. Naturally, we're going to dip into a 3D vibration, but trying to live, trying to live in like a vibration of love, abundance, success, where you believe everything that you want to manifest is coming to you. Yeah. So I do a lot of like manifesting. I do journaling. Mindset is the biggest thing for me, because I know if my mindset's good, I'm going to attract those people I want to attract. I'm going to help those people I want to help. I'm going to attract everything abundant and successful into my life that that's like me.
And I love that about you, how you work with vibration and you learned it. And, I was listening to you and I could hear some listeners saying like, yeah, whatever, when the milk is all over the floor and I'm late for work, how can I find a positive in that? Absolutely. And I'm sure it didn't come like in 5 minutes. It is work, it is practice, and it is consistency. But, it does exist. Some people are actually practicing it. And Krissy is the example in that you need to practice it long enough so that it's a second nature. Yeah, because you're getting mad about something, who does that benefit? Then the rest of your day, you're just, you're attracting all these negative things, and it just keeps getting worse, right? So what I challenge everyone to do is next time something bad happens, find the positive in it. Somebody upsets you, maybe they did that because they're having a rough day, because now it takes it away from you getting mad, upset, angry, thinking about it all day, and just let it go. Just let the universe deal with it. See what happens. Because I started doing this even with my children, with everything, and it's changing my life, because I'm no longer taking on people's problems. I'm no longer, absorbing all of that stuff that really has nothing to do with me, So it's quite interesting. I learned this from my life coach, and I've been practicing it daily, but I've been trying to teach my team that too. If you're having a rough day, guys, unplug. Just unplug. The world can wait. We think everybody's in such a rush and that we have to do this and that. If we're having a rough day, take time to focus on yourself, work on yourself, do some yoga, go hang out with your kids, unplug from social media. The world can wait. When we're in a rough mood or we're feeling nasty or angry or negative, unplug, because it's not going to help anybody. It's going to be bad. And for those listening who have a job and cannot necessarily unplug and say like, okay, I'm leaving, done. What would you say? Yeah. So for somebody, I haven't worked out in the field for about 5 years. If you're working in a job where you can't leave, try and find situations, say your boss is being ignorant to you, and just try and say, the reason she's probably doing that is she had a rough night last night, and let it go. Take some time and do some breath work, in your nose, hold it in for 4 seconds, let it out in your nose. And then let it out, and it calms your body down. It brings you back out of the flight mode. I do a lot of work with this lady in Walkerton on fight or flight, and we go in ice baths. And it teaches you to stop, because our body immediately wants to flight, right? So that's the same in a situation when something happens at work with somebody, we immediately want to flight. We want to leave, or we want to get mad. Stop. And just, breathe. Take a minute and just breathe and just let it go. And you'll notice the anger will go. It's just in those 60 seconds that you're going to get really upset if you don't take time to just stop and focus on yourself. In the ice bath, what we do is we go in the ice bath and our body immediately says, get out. It is freezing. Get out. We have to stop. We have to breathe. And we have to tell ourselves, because our minds are so powerful, we're okay. We've got this. It's only 3 minutes. We're not dying. And just keep breathing. And you notice that your body will sink lower and your body becomes calmer. Breath is so important. We don't realize, we do it naturally daily. We breathe. But taking time to be aware of your breath and just let it go and just focus on your breath for a little bit. And just notice how you feel. I know when you're in a job 9 to 5 and things are horrible happening and, there's all these different energies around you. Just take the time and just focus on
what you're grateful for. I do that daily. So if something bad happens, focus on, okay, you know what? I'm really grateful for my children. I'm grateful for my house. I'm grateful for the food I'm going to eat. I'm grateful for, all the little things, and thank the universe. Thank whoever you want for the things you're grateful for. Do that daily. It changes things. I say I do that daily, even if I'm having a rough day. That's especially when I really focus on it and talk more. And I say I'm so grateful for all these little things that we forget about daily, right? We don't realize we should be grateful for it. Being grateful is so important. It is so important. And when you start doing it, you'll notice you feel better. You feel like a calming sense, and you're like, you know what? I am grateful for these things. So yeah.
Yeah. So mindset, gratitude, take care of your vibration, stay in the good one, and surround yourself with positivity. Yeah. And sometimes, the people around you, you can't change them because they're just there. Well, join other people, join people in podcasts.
Yep.
My best friend for the longest time was someone very known in podcasts. He never knew we were best friend, but he was my best friend. And he was amongst the ones that I was spending the most time with because I needed to hear all this motivation and everything. So when you can't change the physical, state around you, well, find something. And we're so blessed now. There's so much free content out there, and there's so many people wanting to spread positivity. So go for that. And, I will ask you, I'm sure it's almost the same answer, but through your sobriety, I'm pretty sure you had moments of, having the itch to pick up a drink or having the craving. How do you get through that?
Absolutely. So what I do is I revisit the times that I woke up, not remembering where I was, what I did the night before. I had to really, as much as I would like to forget about those times, I can't. I need to keep those, so that I remember, I was in a custody battle. I bring myself right back there. It doesn't happen anymore. But in the beginning, when I was working on myself, I was thinking about it, but I just bring myself right back to those dark days. And I think about it. I feel that feeling in my heart. And then I think about where I am now, the mom I am. I could never do that to my kids. But, I could never do it to myself, because I think we all forget that if we're, forget about ourselves as moms, all we worry about is other people. We got to worry about ourselves, so that's what I do. Like if I'm thinking about anything like that, or I'm having negative energy, I will go do yoga. I will do my breath work, and I will, I will say the things I'm grateful for and remind myself of where I am and where I was. It was dark. I never want to go back there. And it took work. This isn't something that if you're going to quit drinking or doing drugs, it's going to happen next day, but you will grow stronger. You will, I never thought I would. You will grow stronger if you continue to get up each day and do the work and, invest in yourself and do things for yourself. That was the biggest thing for me, was finally recognizing myself, and doing things for myself. My business started to change. My life started to change. You know what? I was a way better mom. I was so, you know what I mean? It's not that I was ever a bad mom, but I was such a good mom when I started taking care of myself, because I was happy. I wasn't just focusing on everybody around me. I was focusing on myself, because if I'm happy, everything around me naturally becomes good. Mm-hmm. And I'm a firm believer in that. Self-love is so important. Self-love, self-care, being grateful, mindset, all these things are such important parts of life that we forget, and that we're not taught to focus on in school. So personal development is what taught me these things. I was not taught this in school. I had no idea what it was. And that's too bad that it's not taught in school, but in this industry, I've really been able to focus on these things, but even if you're not in this kind of industry, you can still get them. Example, Caroline has podcasts. There's so many different podcasts, right? You can learn from them. You can learn from, there's different audibles. I like audibles because I have a little bit of ADD. So being able to read a book is a lot different for me as to listen. So I love listening.
Yeah, I love all of those amazing suggestions. And your girls are lucky to have you as a mom, and they will grow into an environment that will promote all of that. So good job on that too. I could congratulate you all day because I know, I know where you are and how much it takes, and you are exceptional. Krissy, I really want to thank you for being here. I feel like we could still talk like 3 hours, and I want to bring you back another time because we will touch on the subject of sobriety even more and mental health. But what would you leave people with? The one thing.
The one thing that I would leave people with is, even when you feel like you're quitting, when you feel like everything is so bad that you can't get up, get up and do the things. It's hard. I know, don't give up on yourself. You have to focus on getting better, just get up. I didn't want to get up. I promise you guys, get up, because every day you'll start to feel a tiny bit better. Reach out to like different supports, watch podcasts, guys, focus on getting yourself better, because you deserve to be better. You deserve to live. And yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I will put all of Krissy's information, but you can also follow her on Instagram and on Facebook. Very entertaining and uplifting. Thank you, Krissy. And thanks everyone for being with us again this week. And go get the book, 22 Powerful Women in Network Marketing Reveal Their Key to Success. You will have the story of Krissy in there about her business. And then the next book will be about thriving in sobriety. You will have her sobriety story in there, which I think are two amazing, unique stories that, they blend in very well. But for the purpose of the two books, they're separated, but you will see how it makes sense if you actually read those two stories, that they perfectly go together. So thank you all. And Krissy, have a beautiful day.
Thank you, Caroline. Bye, guys. Thank you.